Welcome. I had to open with that because that's gonna set the tone for tonight's live broadcast. I have a lot to uncover. I got a lot of gems that I want to drop. I've been meaning to do a video like this, a live like this for the longest time. It's just I have like so much information, overwhelmed with so much things that I want to say and I want to cover. I'm not gonna be satisfied with it. I'm gonna be okay with it, but it's just so much things because this is a conversation that leads into so many other conversations that goes to so many different directions and discussions that we really need to have as black people here and abroad. So please remember to like, share, and subscribe. I don't ask for no cash apps. I'm not doing this for money like most YouTubers and stuff like that. If anyone asks me, hey, look, I like to support your channel, like they want if you want to, shoot me like, hey, I want you to talk about this, or hey, I like, your graphics and how you do things to be a little bit better. If you want to contribute to that, then that's fine. But I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this just to African proverb, reach one, teach one. That's what I'm trying to do right now. All right. So, like I said, we have a lot to discover. So before I get into it, I'm basically, you can see what the title is FBA, right wing white supremacist war against black people and words of power and encouragement. Ever since I asked myself a little bit of backdrop, ever since I asked myself a question back in '01, I was always the history buff. I always ask myself, why are black people in America and abroad, why are we in the position that we are in, right? Why are we the position that we're in? I ask myself. And just knowing a little bit of history, so I know a little bit of history. I'm okay with, I'm like the average black person. I felt at that time. I know a little bit of history, and I was a diehard Christian, right? So on my journey, I realized the thing that's holding black people back is what happened to us in the past, not reconciling what happened to us in the past. Other people don't care. That's fine. It's about us not reconciling with what happened to us in the past, right? And how that had manifested itself is basically how we treat each other and how and what we know of who we are and what we are. Dr. Clark, if you don't know, Dr. Henry Clark says for people to understand, Malcolm X also says something similar to this. For people to know what to do, they have to know who their history, have to know what they should be, right? So they can know who they are. They need to know where they come from so they can know where they have to go. This is what our problem is. And it always boils down to post traumatic slave syndrome, politics, and religion. Those three things. You can talk about money. Money doesn't really mean anything at this point because you give a foolish man $1 billion and it will be gone in a couple of days. So it's all about the person and individual as well as the group collective, right? So I'm saying that to say that I've noticed a lot of within the black community. There's a lot of things that we endure to be good. So, okay, like using the N word, right? Saying the word nigga and stuff like that. We know where it comes from. But a lot of us has fooled ourselves to say, like, oh, no, I could redefine a word and make it seem something that is not as hideous and horrendous, even though we know most of our ancestors was going through pain, suffering, dying hearing those last words. But whatever, this is a part of PTSD, post traumatic slave syndrome. So, and as well as other words. And I'm just gonna get into to that. I don't want to like filibuster on my on my own point. So one thing I'm going to talk about is basically this thing that's going on politically. Talk about wokeism. I'm going to go through everything in order, and I'll just expunge on the topic there. Right. So politically, so we have that was going on with us socially. And then when, black people obviously are trendsetters and things like that, but usually when people know of our lingo, and especially is something that we could coin onto ourselves and we could use to ourselves. And I find it when it empowers us, right? When it empowers us, they have to demonize it. So I played that Childish Gambino in the beginning because woke is pretty much a self-explanatory thing to say, hey, like what, like 4 or 5 years ago, people like, yo, you woke. Oh, you know that? Oh, you know that, bro? Oh man, you woke. All right, okay, cool, cool, cool. Like my friends, a small circle of friends that I have, we'll test each other out with history and things like that. Hey, I read this book, I found this information and stuff like that. So if I'm asking my brother D, I'm like, yo, you know about this, that. He's like, yo, bro, I've been knowing that a long time. And he'll tell me about how he knew it, the research that he did and everything. I was like, oh, whoa, all right, brother, you woke. Okay, you got it. It's something, again, it's self-explanatory, and it's something that the black community coined, right? That was going around, that we were using basically for, you know, to encourage us to say, hey, look, you're smart, because there's a whole thing going around that black people, um, inherently, the racists and the Negro coons saying, oh, you're not, we're not smart or anything like that. So I found this interesting to be also interesting. It's about Erica Badu. I'm not gonna play the whole thing. It's very short. It's very short to get to the point where I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to let you know what the foundation of what woke is within the black community, within our music, within our people who are intelligent, who want to encourage each other as getting smarter, doing better. What's the saying? You said you know better, you do better, right? So I'm just laying the foundation.
Then when we look at some of your work here,
Yes.
uh, what does this mean to you visually?
This album cover, we're looking at New America Part 1, Fourth World War. Inside of the afro are so many different things. They're signs of the time. They're in my mind.
Yeah.
Because New America Part 1 was me standing on an apex or standing at the top of something, observing everything. There are no solutions in this album. It's just what I've observed.
Thomas Dewey said,
okay,
a problem well stated is a problem half solved.
I understand that. Could be. But we did start a lot of stuff on there.
Yeah.
There's a song on this particular album called Master Teacher. And in that song, Master Teacher, the chorus is I Stay Woke. So Stay Woke was introduced to the world by way of this album, New America Part 1. And I tweeted it about this group that was detained, Pussy Riot. They're this group of activists who are artists. And in my tweet, I said, free Pussy Riot and hashtag Stay Woke. After that, woke took off.
Your art.
Yeah.
You hear that, guys? You hear that? So everyone knows Erica Badu is pro-black, very African spiritual centered person. I don't know if you guys see that album cover right there. You see she got the ankh right there. We always knew she was a very woke, spiritual, pro-black individual. So you have Childish Gambino making a song about woke. She's also talking about woke, inspired by woke. It was not demonized. It's something that was from the grassroots of black intellectuals, black people who are take pride in being black, right? So that's what I want to show you, to just set the stage of how we pretty much use the word and how encouraging it is. Nowadays, sorry about that. So basically, where was I? To basically encourage us and do the things that we want to do to encourage us when it comes to words, to affirmation. That's very important. That's very important, right? And again, I'm just giving you the groundwork. I'm going to keep it pushing, and I'm going to show you another example. Boom, boom, boom. Did I do that? That's my Steve. Did I do that? Hold on a second, guys. I want to get this straight. I think I made a bit of a mistake here. Hold on. Yeah. All right, hold on a second, guys. All right, I'm back. So, yeah. So let's move on to the next video, just giving you where woke comes from, and it is pretty much a grassroots word among other groups, other words that we're gonna talk about today. So, so right here, politically, this is what the word has, moving forward over the next 3-4 years in the future from then. This is the connotation that the right wing, the racist right wing Trump supporters, and anyone that hates anything to do with black progress or even just recognition, just black recognition, recognize, hey, you're black as a human being, and as a black person in America, these are your past and current experiences that we all know. And again, the black experience is the American experience, right? You all know that from slavery, we didn't bring ourselves here in chains or anything like that. We weren't forced to do manual labor. We were forced to do manual labor. We didn't do it to ourselves. So that is American history, right? So white people are a part of that American history. It's a shameful history, but it's history nonetheless. So if you guys watch my videos, you must be familiar with what's about to go down here.
Wake. Where does it take? Reawaken, awaken, wake. Where does it take us then to? Woke. Tell me the difference between how you perceive wokeism and reawakening, because they have the same root word.
They are as far as the East is from the West.
What does woke mean to you?
Woke is about as criminal as you can get. It's about sexualizing children. It is about everything immoral in this country. It is about, it just upsets me about.
I can see that, but tell me more about it. Like what is it that people glom onto that is upsetting?
I don't even know. When you talk to real people and you say, do you really want to disparage your police? Do you really want to?
Okay, so we all know what she knows. Obviously, that's not what woke means. That's, again, a white supremacist, right wing political agenda. So, what also that is very telling, it says, do you want to disparage your police? Now, being a black person in America, or just being cognizant of what goes on in the world, right? What goes on in the world. America is pretty much a police state, and it pretty much has been treating black people horrifically since Reconstruction to this very day, and the police gets away with a lot. So from a white person, right, as ignorant as she is, I'm not even going to call her blatantly racist, because she could just be immeasurably ignorant, right? Police are the best thing since sliced bread, right? Because they treat her good, right? So I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt and not say, well, she knows what happens to black people. And hey, just because you're black and black people are rambunctious and they don't know how to act, and they know how to behave, they're animals. I'm not saying she's saying that. But again, she's going along with the racist narrative and her ignorance, saying, why would someone want to defame or go against the police? she's again showing who she is.
To sexualize your children? Do you really want to?
Again, people, if you listen to Erica Badu, Childish Gambino, and other people that use that word, it has nothing to do with that. Again, racists have co-opted that word and they're using it to their advantage to demonize anything black, which is positivity and just acknowledging your very existence.
To put people in poverty? What do you want? That's what the woke agenda is. The awake agenda is support our police, support our government, support our schools, not woke schools that do what they're doing to children. You know what? They've been doing it for a long time, just under the radar, and now they're in our faces. And if we don't wake up to what they're doing to our children, whew.
Do you think people in there support our government?
Oh, that's a loaded question.
Well, you just
Who
said
is
support
our
our
government.
Well, President Biden and the Congress of the United States and the Supreme Court.
I would turn the question on, what do you support about President Biden?
Well, I
would just ask that question. If you were to ask me, do you support President Biden? I would say, just give me one thing I should try to support, and then I could answer that. It's too broad of a question.
the only reason I asked it, and this wasn't about Biden and supporting any one person, was you said support our government. And that's why I was asking, do you think that people in there support our government?
I don't think I'm the one that said support our government. You did. So here's what I say. Our government has gone.
I think, am I wrong? Did she say support our government? Did I say it?
Support our police, support our government.
Oh, they even don't know what the hell they're saying. This is just sad, right? So that's a little taste of that. So again, we know what woke is. We know what it's supposed to be and what it means, right? So let's give another run at it, right? Because again, it's not me putting words in their mouth. I'm not putting words in their mouth or anything like that. We know the grassroots, black people, black Americans, anyone that's into pop culture or anything like that, no matter what your age or whatever, we know woke means something positive among in general, but especially among black people, because we have adopted that word for us to mean like, wow, awakening, third eye. We're being enlightened, returning to enlightened beings. We're being better than what we were before, right? So we know what it means. So we could, when someone's lying, someone's lying. It's very simple. So here's another one.
It's not just Biden's policies that are causing people to second guess their allegiance to the Democrat Party. It's also because of everything the left has come to embrace. Now, 2 nights ago, we showed you shocking undercover video from a teacher in Santa Barbara, California.
Remember, shocking undercover video? Shocking.
She bravely brought to light this vile racializing of her school curricula and what the school district was trying to hide from the parents, by the way, on what was a password-protected portal.
Now, as you listen to this racist ass bitch right here, I mean, she's a actor, because without going off on a tangent, she knew that the election wasn't stolen. Behind the scenes, there's texts of everything about the election wasn't stolen, about how the people from January 6th was going crazy and everything. So she was like, her, Sean Hannity, and a whole bunch of other people were trying to get in touch with Trump, saying like, what are you doing? You're making us look bad, yada, yada, yada. But please pay attention to, on the right of her, the screen, because that's what she's talking about. So when the teacher comes on, she's into the portal or the website of all the horrific, disgusting things. And I'm going to pause it if you guys miss it.
I want to show you what's being concealed from the parents in the Santa Barbara Unified School District. Inclusive curriculum lessons. There's collections, the LGBTQ heritage, gender inclusive biology, educate and celebrate. There's activism.
Now, I will say something about the LGBTQ History Month. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't get the ages or whatever. I personally feel that no elementary school, I would say maybe junior high school, maybe junior high school, this shit needs to be taught, right? Elementary school kids don't need to know this shit, right? What needs, so let's say, let's do a half measure here. Let's say, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, and your child knows they're LGBTQ. That's already a problem if they know what that is, right? But for argument's sake, let's say they're that. I think it should be known to the parents that, hey, look, we have services, mental health services, and services that if your child wants to talk about their situation of being this alphabet or whatever, we have it. That's it. The majority of children should not know what that is, right? That's a red flag right there, right? So I didn't catch if it was elementary school or junior high school. I'll probably have to play it. No, it says elementary school. Okay, it says elementary lessons. I don't know if it's elementary lessons or elementary school, but let's say it's elementary school. I'm against that.
The Youth Advocate Toolkit, preschool, grade school, and secondary resources.
Well, that courageous teacher, Christy Lozano, saw our segment and agreed to come on tonight. Christy, thanks for being with us. Have you gotten any blowback since we helped you expose this nationwide?
Not really. I've had a lot of positive feedback for the most part. I'm sure people are thinking things, but I haven't had too much, so that's good.
Well, California is obviously extremely liberal. I spend quite a bit of time, believe it or not. I'll come visit you in Santa Barbara, so I know it pretty well. But I think at this point they've gone so far left. I say this, they've left America. That's what it looks like.
So you see this? Oh wow. So let's go back let's go back a smidge. This is what's on the report when you read it. Martin Luther King Day. Oh, disgusting. So outrageous. Black History Month. Disgusting. Women's History Month. Go back in the kitchen, right? This is what the outrage is about. Was what they're going through.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
So I want to play
Cesar Chavez Day. Despicable, right? Juneteenth. What? Get out of here. Juneteenth? Nigga, please. Right? Bilingual, multilingual advocacy month. Hispanic Latin Heritage Month. This is what they're outraged about. And when you call these two white supremacists racist, they want to know, what do you mean racist? How am I racist? I just don't want to hear about your brown and black history or days. Just keep it American, which is white. They think that America is this homogenous place. America was never a homogenous group. Y'all interrupted that when white people came into America, because there was nothing but Native Americans here. America used to be a homogenous group until you guys came here, and then you make it a little bit more diverse by bringing by enslaving Africans and bringing them into America. So it's less homogenous. So now it's like, whoa, okay. Since we're ruling everything, and please read, if you guys, if you're big on reading and researching psychology, history, and things like that, read Sheikh Anta Diop's Civilization or Barbarism. It basically tells you, it gives you a definition of what civilization really is and what barbarism is. And white people think that they have reached a level of, let's say, comfort as a group of people, as far as like, well, we could eat. We feel that we're advanced or just advanced because we could build, and we know certain things. We're kind of on the edge, the cutting edge of everything new to make our lives easier. They think once they accomplish that, they're civilized. that doesn't make you civilized, right? That's not what civilization is. But please check that book out. It's called Civilization or Barbarism by Sheikh Anta Diop. So all these things here, they feel is just abhorrent and despicable. Woke. Oh my God.
More of your video where you expose this racialized lesson plan.
Racialized lesson plan. So they got past the whole LGBTQ thing. All right. She's past that. Again, on to, it's being racialized, because we should not talk about race, right? All non-white people need to bow their head. Don't say nothing. Don't acknowledge who they are and what they are. They just be like, okay, it's a white country, which makes no sense because we're all citizens. So I should not rock the white boat or anything like that, right? I should just be a good little nigga here and just say whatever Master Tom want and Miss Ann want. And the Indian person should be like, okay, it is very okay. I'm in the country now with white people, so I don't say anything. And the essay and Hispanic people are like, okay, I not say nothing. I say nothing. I don't care about Cinco de Mayo. I was mind my business. And I just celebrate Cinco de Mayo in my house, in mi casa. That's what they want.
Watch.
105 things white people can do for racial justice. White people do something. It's basically defunding the police and a new, smarter approach to public safety.
Okay, so again, these races like to say that, hey, black people pick yourself up by your bootstraps, yada, yada, yada. You are in control of your destiny. That is true to a certain extent, right? Now, the powers that be, we are not the powers that be. So the powers that be that you're in charge of, right? Doing, again, like these horrific things that's been happening with police brutality and everything. So defund the police is, again, I don't like that term, because as the right wing will always done, saying that, oh, that means y'all don't need cops, which is idiotic. But the right wing's not that smart, and they try to spin it. All defund the police means like, okay, defund the police and put other resources into police training. There also be police. So let's say someone has mental illness. Someone says, hey, look, this person, it'd be like domestic situations. Or I remember one time, I'll never forget this story. It was this guy, right? I think it was in Virginia. He was an Army vet. He was going through some he was shell shocked. He was going through it. He was naked. I cannot emphasize this more. He was naked. And he kept like climbing up the side of the house. I think it was in a gated community. Climbing up the side of the house and keep jumping. Climbing up the side of the house and jumping. Someone reported, there's a naked black dude climbing up the house, jumping. Obviously, if you get that call, it's like, all right, something is obviously wrong with this guy. He's either high on drugs or something's wrong, right? What did this cop do? He ended up shooting him and killing him. Guy didn't attack him. He sees the guy jumping up and down. Instances like that, that's what I'm talking about, right? But if you're a cop, right, and your training is everything's a nail and you're a hammer, what you gonna do, right? So every time that story always replays back in my mind, because I have relatives that were in the Army, in the Navy, and the Marines, and they're kind of not at that level yet, but I could understand it, right? And you shot an Army vet. Remember, it's supposed to protect our police, unless they're police from January 6th, then it's F the police, F the blue line, right? Oh, our military. Yeah, unless you're black. This is something that's been going on forever. Black people go in World War I. They could have their Purple Heart on and everything. Nigger, back of the bus. Get out of here. We don't care about that. During the Tulsa riot, they had a black soldier that was in one of the wars, had his army suit on, still shot him dead. Nigga, what? Please. They don't care.
Safety says to donate to BLM, make small crimes legal, do not support prisons.
Now, when they say make small crimes legal, that's broad. So I'm going to say this. Small crime would be like marijuana possession. Not like on some Pablo Escobar, you holding man weight. You know what I'm saying? Nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, like, just, hey, I got me like an ounce on me or whatever, or a joint on me. That's a small crime, right? And for those of you who don't think that's a crime, alcohol is illegal and it kills thousands of people a day. That's just accidents alone. Let's not talk about what alcoholism does to your health. Excessive drinking kills you, right? Oh, then tobacco. That's legal, right? And that's just a straight death sentence. But marijuana, ooh.
And reduce prison.
And it's only Republican states that want to keep marijuana as a Schedule 1 drugs, knowing that this has hindered Black people since forever.
Sentences.
Christy, who's behind these lesson plans? Do the teachers, for the most part, endorse this? Do they resist it? And what about the parents?
Well, who's behind the lesson plans? They've hired somebody to come in and write these plans. I think they just hired him this year. And I think they come from other areas where they have done the same things, maybe even taken over the school district in other areas like San Francisco, Salinas. And the teachers, a lot of the teachers do endorse it. Some go along with it because they think it's the trend. And
yeah, I would say not being a white racist Nazi piece of shit bitch would be a good thing to call the trend. Yeah, you know, because what square are you standing on? You're on a soapbox saying we don't want to hear about any Black and brown inclusiveness. So basically, they're segregationists.
And you're made to feel bad if you don't. And if you don't, go along, be politically correct or whatever they want to say. And in Santa Barbara, they've been doing teacher training.
See, Black Lives Matter. That's horrible.
It's for us for the last 10 to 15 years.
So basically, she's gonna say the same thing with her racist ass, right? So we're done with her, all right? So again, the woke agenda of what it is, right? Of what it is, So this is all that wokeism mean to them. It's something negative. It's something anti-Black, right? So basically, they are anti-Black. And they're anti even recognizing your humanity. Is keep your head down and don't say nothing and just be a good little happy Negro. That's it. All right. So what do we have next here? I'm going to run through this real quick. I think I did that already. I think I did this.
It's not just Biden's policies that are.
Okay, I showed that one already. My bad, y'all. Right. I'm not going to show that one. I'll save that one in the bank. All right. This again. So it's basically, obviously, as we could see, is a bunch of just racist Trump supporters that support this garbage. Right. There's just a bunch of racist Trump supporters that support that. Now, I'm not telling you that the Democrats are less racist at all, but the Democrats are not waging a war on Black identity, Black wokeness, speaking against Black history, or they're not fighting minorities. The worst they would do will ally with you, but don't fight for you. That's totally different, right? So let's see what they're saying right here.
Culture. It's what everyone's talking about. What do you think about woke culture. It's what everyone's talking about.
I think it's a bunch of crap. They're trying to change what our children think in the schools.
What would you like to see happen?
I'd like to get back like it was in the 60s.
This is a perfect example of a Republican telling on themselves for being racist while also not realizing that they're being racist.
Before all the civil rights stuff?
Before all the civil rights stuff.
So you would like to see things go back to before the civil rights movement?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You know, where people have their freedom in this country.
Well, certain groups didn't have as much at the time, right?
Right. They didn't have as much at the time. But we still got to get back where this country stands up for this country.
So there you have it. You know, it is what it is. That's why I do not understand Black people who are diehard Republicans. I don't get it. I don't get it. I understand, hey, I voted for this person because, hey, I needed this. Okay, fine. And you just jump off the boat after that. You got niggas that would go down with the ship. You know what I'm saying? With the Confederate flag waving in their hand. You know what I'm saying? With their face plumb in between Donald Trump's buttocks. You know what I'm saying? Those are the Negroes. I don't get it. I really don't get it. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I do get it a little bit because there's a lack of integrity or self-respect. If you don't have those two things, shit, anyone can say anything about you and treat you and talk about you anyhow because you ain't shit. And once you realize you ain't shit, you know what I'm saying? You could be with people who have no respect for you, right? And they'll use you and you think they like you because they're using you. You know, so again, I'm showing you what wokeism means to us and what wokeism means to them, right? Even here, you know, you go on Twitter, right? They even have like whole pages about it. You know what I'm saying? Stop wokeism right here. Stop wokeism and all this other nonsense, right? you know what I'm saying? It's a whole bunch of other ones like that. It's just crazy, you know. So obviously, you know, it's pretty much. I mean, we were always in a war. Oh fuck, we were always in a war about maintaining our identity, keeping our identity of who we are and what we are, and always being attacked. The only thing I'm upset about is that I really don't see a lot of pushback from us as far as like, well, what is that supposed to mean? Like, you know, I don't see a lot of people getting like upset and stuff like that. So like in just regular spaces with Black people, right? Another word that, and we did this to ourselves, I even didn't get that far out yet. This is just in so-called conscious spaces, a word that really, it just means peace. It means peace. That's all that it means. It just means peace. And when you talk to people that are say not even that religious affiliated, right? They'll start calling you Hotep means peace. It's a Kemetic word, a so-called Egyptian word that means peace, right? So when you say Hotep brother, Hotep sister, whatever. But we have the Urban Dictionary here. Whereas, let's see what the Urban Dictionary version means. What Hotep nigga? Oh, it's a Hotep nigga. You start talking about something that people don't agree with, that's pro-Black, and it goes against whatever narrative they have. Oh, it's a Hotep nigga, right? So what does it mean? A Hotep nigga is a guy that uses his knowledge of conspiracy theories or his consciousness to get with women. That's an interesting term. I don't know about that. Conspiracy theory. That's not what a Hotep, because again, Hotep means peace in Egyptian. It's an Egyptian, it's a Kemetic word, right? And it's part of the Medu Neter, right? Medu means writing, Neter means God. So it means writing of God. So the Medu Neter. Right? So if you don't believe me, I'll do it live for you right now. Come on. Hotep. Hoteps are a subculture of African Americans who use ancient Egyptian as a source of black pride. It's Wikipedia, so okay. It kind of have a half right. Okay, let's do the meaning of Hotep. Let's do that. Hotep meaning. Like I said, peace. Hotep. That's the Medu Neter right there. Right there. It means peace. The ancient term Hotep is thousands of years old and can be derived from ancient Africa, more specifically ancient Kemet, so-called Egypt, which is the Greek word. Hotep has several meanings, but mainly it means peace. So when we go back to the nigga dictionary, Urban Dictionary, Hotep nigga, you can see why I don't, that bothers me, because you're not really talking to a person who's a very intellectual, smart person, where they try to take a word of positivity and turn it into something negative. So if you're saying you're a person of peace, right, and you're causing chaos, then yeah, you're a fake. You're not really a Hotep person, but you don't take the definition and redefine the definition. That makes no sense whatsoever, right? So that's another word that again, that just between brothers and sisters that we take and we twist and we turn into something negative, right? Why do we do that to each other? We always try to tear each other down, right? We always try to tear each other down, and that really, really bothers me. So that's one example what I mean as far as like against the whole topic of this thing about words of power and encouragement, right? That we do it, we also do it to ourselves as well as white supremacists, right? So let's move on from this one, right? So we knocked that out, right? Oh, and there's another one. Now I only heard this, I guess it's a thing, but I heard this from Tariq Nakoon. He uses this term over here, like shea butter Twitter. And he'll use it in a negative way of saying like a bunch of black people that are disingenuous with the things that they're saying or whatever. But even that's the truth, shea butter is good. Shea butter is an African invention. It's an African invention to the point where white people now, like Vaseline, Intentional Care, and all these other lotion companies, they're now using shea butter. They're now using shea butter because they understand the properties of it. Shea butter is beautiful. You stay moisturized and everything. We Africans invented that, right? But again, it's Tariq Nakoon, saying Tariq Nashit. So understood why he'll take something positive and turn something into negative. That's why, he almost got checked at that reparations hearing that happened it was like this weekend. And that shit was crazy. I gotta do a video about that. But so many people did videos about it. I'm trying to, wait and see what else is gonna happen after the backlash so I could, have a different spin on it. But yeah. Shea butter. You know what I'm saying? And shea butter Twitter. Oh, you shea butter this, you did it. Like, why are you trying to make something positive something negative? Something that I can't stand. Another thing I can't stand about black people when they do that. Right? So we got that out the way. So here's another topic that I know y'all gonna be mad at me for this one. You're gonna be mad at me for this one. But it's been a long time coming. I'm not a person that like to divide. Our people already have division, but it's something that just gotta be said. And I'm gonna say it. And I'm gonna say it. Right? Now, I don't like to generalize, but I see it happen too often with Black Americans. Right? So Look at this sad story right here.
Defending herself tonight, saying that she is a good mother. That's even though video of her toddler has now gone viral online. It shows that child apparently being encouraged to use curse words. Grant is back. He first brought us that story last night. Grant, now this young mother who's a juvenile is speaking out.
Yeah, Pam, the Omaha, Nebraska mom, 16 years old, so we're not naming her, and she asked that her face be blurred. Earlier this week, Child Protective Services took 4 children from her home, including this young toddler who was featured in the filming of this video right here, in which she's cursing, giving the finger. The mom says she was not in the room when this happened, that one of her brother's friends was the one egging on the toddler in the video, which was then posted on Facebook.
You're talking that now. You too. Say the name 3 times. You a hoe.
That video was.
Now, no, that's not just the uncle or whoever encouraged. The kid was voluntarily saying extra curse words. You know what I'm saying? The uncle didn't say anything about a hoe or anything like that. The kids started saying hoe, this, and that. This is something that I have witnessed. Every time it's always a young Black American mother, sometimes father. They will curse out their children. I'll be walking in the street, whatever, and she be, I'll probably just drop my kids off to school. She's going wherever and stuff like that. And I'm telling you, the kid be like 5, 4, right? Kids act up. Kids gonna be kids, right? And the kid, she's not walking, the kid's not walking up, or the kid's crying and whining. She's like, shut your ass up. Shut your ass up and come over here. We're gonna be late. I'm like, well, what the hell? Why are you cursing kids out? Like, it's a kid. And I'm like looking at her like, yo, what the hell? Why are you cursing out a toddler? I remember one time I was taking the train. It was this father. He had 2 kids, and it must have been, again, like 6 or 7 or whatever. And he was holding their hand, and they kind of like, no, don't hold my hand, don't hold my hand. He's like, he's grabbing him. He's like, don't, you better give me your fucking hand. Don't give me your fucking hand. Fuck is wrong with you? I'm gonna beat your ass if you let go of me again. I'm like, yo, you talk to your 7-year-old like that? And he was American, right? I don't see Caribbean people and African people talk to their children that way. Not saying that there's none that don't. I never do that. Same thing. I'm not saying all Black American parents do that, but when I do see that and I witness that, they're all Black American. They will just curse at their kids, and then it's like when their kids get older and their kids curse them out or have a lack of respect for them, then they wonder why. I'm thinking like, yo, you're my mother, you're my father. If out of anyone in the world supposed to have the utmost respect for me and care about me, it should be you. But you cursing me out like you know what I'm saying, like someone cut me off in the street. You curse me out like we got beef. And that's how they're raised.
Nah, it wasn't me. It was a person that came in my house and recorded it. So for everybody that thinks I'm a bad mother, I'm not. I'm a good mother to my son, and I teach him a lot, and he's very smart.
What about your 4 other kids? Your 4 other kids, you're gonna say it's just the toddler doing that, and not the other 4 or other 3 kids? I don't think so. No way that if anyone that has children, everybody know that toddlers at that age mimic what they see. They copy what they see, especially when they see it repetitively, especially when they get certain encouragement about it. And even if she didn't do that, what type of uncle would do that with their kid? Like, again, it goes back to your upbringing. No one does. I don't know anybody personally that I know that does that to children. It doesn't. But to me, it's like, whatever, they're American, so yeah.
In that interview, the mother also said her son had a clean diaper, the house was clean, and like they said, kids curse. Every kid does it, according to that mom. But then she went on to say in the interview, a bit of a contradiction, quote, he's a smart little boy, all that cussing that he did, he doesn't do that. Somebody told him to do that. My son doesn't do that. I don't allow it. Meanwhile, court records show that toddler was among 5 people injured in October when shots were fired in that home. This story really striking a nerve with people. Here are some of the hundreds of comments on our Crown 4 Facebook.
Yeah. So, yeah, I tell she was lying from the beginning, right? So, for some of you, they're like, oh, that's bullshit. Africans curse at their kids and da-da-da-da. So I'm like, yeah, but not like that. Nothing close to that. So, from what I see it, like here's another example. You say, oh, well, you know what? That's just one isolated incident. Yada 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 yada. Okay, all right. I mean, I could do this all day. I could do this all day.
Get up, get your lazy ass up, get up. Mama, what do you want me to do? I'm trying to tear this up. You want me to clean this up? I'm trying to get all done at the same time. Get your ass up. Now! You get that broom and start sweeping the shit up. You tore up my shit. You can have that damn broom. You can sit there with your goddamn fucking hands on your hip.
Like what the hell was that? That's crazy, right? All right, there's another one.
Useless broken bones of human beings. You are.
This is when your African parents curse you out. This is what Africans consider getting when their parents curse them out.
Useless broken bones of human beings. You are not going to achieve anything good in your life. Useless broken bones of human beings. You are not going to achieve anything good in your life.
They try to hit you to the soul. Like you're gonna grow up to be nobody and know how to use foul language.
Useless broken
Is happening there. So I mean, it's so bad. Even made like parodies of what was going on. Oh, come on now. Man, what's going on? What goes on here? Oh, come on, man.
Now, what the hell are you talking about? Man, shut your dumb ass up.
I like this one better. This one was funny. Yo, what the hell? This one's not playing. It was a parody of the one that I showed. It was crazy. It was so crazy. This is not the one though. It ain't working. Whatever. But yeah, that like really eggs me. Now this one, she's a comedian. She's funny. I like her and everything, but you will say, well, you know, it's just jokes. It's just jokes. I think it's jokes, and it's also some real. She's being real. It's some real shit that she's saying, right? So.
Don't bring them ugly ass kids over my house. I'll put Grandpa Dick in their hand.
That's crazy. Hold on.
Don't bring them ugly ass kids over my house. I'll put Grandpa Dick in their hand. Not for real, white people. That's how you get out of fucking keeping kids. Like, they talk too fucking much. My granddaughter talked too fucking much. My daughter-in-law called me one day. She was like, Miss Pat, can you pick up Ashlyn from school? I'm like, fuck, okay. I get up to the school, y'all, and I get her, and I don't like her because she like to start fucking conversation. I don't want to talk to no damn kid, okay? I'm a 47-year-old black woman with hot flashes. Bitch, talk to me when your titties heat up 99 degrees. So I pick up and I put in the car, I'm like, put your seatbelt on. And out of nowhere, y'all, she started a fucking conversation. She like, grandmama. I'm like, what, baby? She say, my mama said you get on her motherfucking nerve. And I said,
that is funny, but I think that's real. I think that's real.
Fuck your mama. She get on my motherfucking nerve. That's why your little brothers are ugly. You ain't got no edges, and my son ain't gonna marry your mama. Don't owe me. She started that shit. What, you think I supposed to let her win because she 5 years old? Fuck that baby. She talk too much. She talk too fucking much. And that's what I keep telling my son. I'm like, you need to bust your daughter in the jaw. My granddaughter tell all my son business. My granddaughter go to school from my house because I live in a really nice neighborhood. White people, you call that fucking cheating. But we black people call that higher education. So she go to school from my house. She go to school and tell her fucking teacher, my mom and daddy fell on hard times, so we moved out of our house into an apartment until we can get back on our feet. Like she pay fucking bills. Well, the teacher called me and was like, Miss Pat, Ashley said you guys moved out of the neighborhood. I was like, what? Don't listen to her. She smoke weed. Stupid ass child.
That's crazy. And again, it's jokes, but I kind of believe I kind of believe that because I had experience like that being around my Black Americans, being around my friend's house and stuff like that. Like I remember I was at my homegirl's house one time, and we were there chilling and stuff like that. And her mom's came home, right? She came home. Mother went past the living room, went to the kitchen. She was like, Tamika, what the fuck is all these goddamn dishes doing in here? Didn't I tell your ass to wash all these motherfucking dishes? What the hell? You won't have. I was like, oh shit. She's like, oh, I was gonna do it. She's like, I was gonna do it. I forgot. I had to do blase blah da 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 da. You wanna wash these fucking dishes? It's all nasty in here. I was like, okay. I guess it's time for me to go. Mother's cursing up a storm. So I'm getting my stuff. I'm getting ready to go. She's like, yo, where you going? Like, I'm going home and your mom's just wilding out. Nah. She's just like that. You know what I'm saying? She's just like that. I'm going to watch it later. I'll watch it later. I got company. And sure enough, her mother said what she had to say. Her mother went about her business. That was it. I'm like, what the hell? That shit is normal. Like, my mother probably cursed me out when I was like, I did something really, really bad. And she was like upset. And she even didn't use the F word. She just said shit and your ass and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And, but on normal circumstances, that's just crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? So, okay. But you would say it's the average common person, whatever, and stuff like that. Now, not some upstanding religious folk, not the man of the cloth and stuff like that. We're all human. I'm only saying this because you got people that say, oh, he's a God-fearing man and he's a Christian. That don't mean shit. You're still human. Like what? Christians are the biggest hypocrites, the biggest sinners, people that got to hide the most dirt, if you ask me. So anyway, right here, who is this, you might ask? This is Kurt Franklin.
Innovate, excite, thrill.
Sorry about that. Can't help the commercials. I usually pre-start it before all this nonsense. But whatever. I guess they're getting free advertising on here. Hold on. This is pretty much about Kurt Franklin, about what he said to his son. And you're going to see.
It looks like Kurt Franklin has found himself in the news after his son posted a video on social media of the famous gospel singer yelling and swearing at him. 32-year-old Carry-On Franklin posted the video where Kurt Franklin can be heard insulting and swearing at his son before hanging up the phone. After receiving some backlash, Kurt apologized on social media and explained, "For many years, we have had a toxic relationship with him as a family. I felt extremely disrespected in that conversation, and I lost my temper. And I said words that are not appropriate, and I am sincerely sorry to all of you. I sincerely apologize." Now, not everyone was upset with Kurt Franklin. In the comments of his apology, many side with Kurt, saying that there's no need for him to apologize. Today, we have our very own Comedy Hype analyst, Pierre, calling into the show, and we have to ask the question, why do so many people agree with Kurt as opposed to not? But first, let's take a look at the clip.
Up a piece of paper. Okay, if you think I'm really disrespectful, let me say it like this. When your bitch ass starts disrespecting, you need to get your skinny motherfucking ass back out the damn way before I put my foot in your ass. Because I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. Shut the fuck up. I'm old. What's up? I will break your neck, nigga, if you ever disrespect me. I did it.
He called his son, "Yo, motherfucking ass, I'm gonna beat your ass, put my foot on your ass," call his son a nigga. Like, god damn. That's just typical nigga behavior. Like, wow. That's nuts. So yeah, again, that's just one of my gripes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there goes that N-word again and stuff like that. I mean, I guess he used it in a disparaging way. That's how I would use that particular word and things like that. I would use it in that manner. But again, it's going right back to that narrative. So let's get off of that. I'm going to also go here. So we're going to basically go to a remedy. We have to remedy things like, okay, Kofi, you're pointing out the problems and stuff like that. We can't do anything about Negro conservatives or anything like that. But what about us who know? Hold on a second. What about us who know what the problem is and know that we need a solution? All right. Do you have any solutions? Or do you come with solutions, or are you just pointing out to the problem? So I have, I pretty feel I gave a little bit of solutions here, but right here, let me put you on the path to remedying it. So, I mean, to start, like what Michael Jackson says in one of his songs back in the days in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? I'm starting with the man in the mirror. So we're gonna have to start with ourselves, right? And that's what I had to do, because I mean, I should say when I was like I didn't start saying, "Oh yeah, my nigga this, my nigga that. Oh, that nigga's crazy. Oh, that nigga's wild. Yo, that nigga's nice." All of that. I didn't start saying that, so I was probably like late junior high school into high school, and I had to pretty much, when I realized, like, wow, this is not funny. That's not a word you should be using. I probably stopped. It took me, I was like 29 or 30 when I had to like stop using that word in that particular manner. So, where is she? 9:45. Yeah. So right here. Hold on one second. I want to get you. Boom. Yeah, it was 6. Yeah. So what I'm going to share right now, I've known of this psychologist. She's a pro-Black clinical psychologist. She has a lot of she has a lot of YouTube videos online. Dr. Joy DeGruy. Love her. She is ingenious. She is ingenious. She's, as a person of a lover of psychology and how, understand how people's mind work and stuff like that, she is so on point with so much. So this is Brother Omawale Africa, right? This is his YouTube channel. Omawale Africa, very, very good brother. A real Pan-Africanist. Let me say it again, a real Pan-Africanist. Not these Pan-Africanists that say they're Pan-Africanists to get views, to get money, to get notoriety, or to worship white people and worship Republicans and all this other bullshit, right? If you're a Pan-African, you're a Garveyite, and you go according to Marcus Garvey's dream, which is basically all Black people's dream, is to unite, to become as one, and to help each other mentally, spiritually, emotionally, in every way, form, or fashion, to the betterment of our race. That's what a Garveyite should be, right? A Garveyite should not be worshiping white people, should not be worshiping groups of white people as a form of their salvation or answer, should not be using Pan-Africanism as a grift, should not be using Pan-Africanism to in a misleading way. So I'm just saying that. Just check the brother's channel out, Brother Omawale, very good brother, and Dr. Joy, the group. Again, please check also her videos out. She has YouTube videos out there. So just look at the remedy, right? Look at the remedy. It's called Going Off Topic, and she's gonna pretty much talk to what our situation is and how we have to correct that. There's 2 points she's gonna make, and I'm going to show it to you. It's not going to be that long, whatever. But please look at this video in its entirety.
Post-traumatic slave syndrome: America's legacy of enduring injury and healing.
I think it was something that I was writing from childhood. I grew up in South Central. I graduated from Crenshaw High School. And I know that I was raised in a family where Black was normalized, right? Blackness was normalized. My father called himself an Asiatic Black man, as long as I know. He was an Asiatic Black man. And this is, when folks were still considered colored and Negroes. But he called himself an Asiatic Black man, loved Malcolm. And so I grew up with a sense of normalcy about my Blackness. But my experience in my community was one where, for example, if my friend got mad at me or there was going to be a fight that happened inevitably somewhere on the block, the first thing the person would do before they would curse you, call you out of your name, is they would call you Black. You Black XYZ, you Black. And I can remember thinking, you are Black, number one. But the assumption here is that it's going to hurt you even more for me to call you Black. And that, even in my young mind, didn't make sense. Why are you trying to beat me up with my Blackness? We all Black, right? So I think the inklings of that showed up, oh, she was pretty, she was light-skinned, or he had good hair. These were things I grew up with. And
I mean, those are things that we all grew up with and stuff like that. Not more outside of my family, not in my family. I mean, I remember one time I was living in Virginia, like Newport News. I was in a barbershop or whatever, right? And dudes were talking. They were just talking. They were talking about some chicks and stuff like that. Like, yeah, this chick, that chick. And one of the other dude was talking about, yeah, this girl, she look good. She get down, peace, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. He's like, remember when we went out to that spot? That girl? He's like, which girl? The one with the blue? Nah, not the one in the blue, man. Not the one in the blue, man. The one in the red. The one in the red. Like, man, I thought you talked about the one in the blue. Nah, the one in the red. Oh, the light-skinned, the dark-skinned girl? Nah, nigga, ain't no dark-skinned girl. The light-skinned girl, man. I want my girl to shine, nigga. I was like, what? What? I'm like, yo, I didn't want to go to that barbershop ever again. I was just so disgusted in what he said. Not the dark-skinned girl, the light-skinned girl, because I want my girl to shine. That happened like that was what 2000 and what 2003. I remember that. That was like 2003 because my daughter was born in 2003, and I was living out there in 2003. And I remember going to the barbershop and him saying that. I'm like, oh my god. So these things are real. And again, it has to do with post-traumatic slave syndrome. Now, it depends on what type of family upbringing you have. Dr. Joy, she was fortunate to grow up in a family where Black was seen as something positive, right? Same thing with me. Black was never something negative, right? There might have been unconscious bias far as like colorism. So for like Caribbean people, as I'm from the Caribbean, and we use old English. We don't really use a lot of American English. There's a lot of old English phrases that we would use. So let's say in that same scenario where you have the two guys at the barbershop talking about the description of this girl that looks good, how that would carry on for us, we would say, oh, the dark skin looking girl, the black looking girl, and the other guy like, no, the fair skin looking girl. So when we say fair skin, fair means light, bright. You know what I'm saying? Fair. If you look up the definition of fair, that's what it means. It means white. It means pure, right? So it's the law of opposites, and the law of opposites is a damning thing, right? Because I don't have to tell you that something is bad or ugly if I'm favoring the other one and giving the other one escalades and throwing flowers at his feet at that particular definition, and you automatically know the other one is not as desirable, right? So I used to think like, okay, when I understood as a kid what that meant, I was like, are you trying to say that the brown skin and the dark skin person is not as nice or good or pretty? And that never made sense to me. But like I said, I think it's an unconscious bias that they have. And when you bring it up to people, when I usually bring it up to people from the Caribbean or from England, they be like, Black people, they're like, you know what, that is right. We shouldn't be saying that. Right. But again, if you read we read Shakespeare or any old English thing when they say she's fair, or the fair maiden, that just means the white, pure, beautiful maiden. That's all that means when you use the word maiden. I mean fair. So
they became the normal thing. In fact, it ended up in rap songs, and she got good hair down to the roots. It was like, what is this stuff? And as I did a deeper dive, once I became clinically trained, and I started to look at what causes trauma, right? What causes trauma? It could be caused by a natural disaster. It can be caused by a human disaster. It can be direct or indirect. But what I did learn about trauma is that all you need to do to end up with a diagnosis, like, for example, of post-traumatic stress disorder, is to experience one trauma, directly or indirectly. For example, if I shoot you, you're traumatized. I've shot you. If there's someone in the room that saw me shoot you, they too are traumatized, possibly, likely. If someone in your family finds out you've been shot, they could be traumatized. And every single one of those folks along that continuum could need some stress-related intervention to help manage that. Now, so what I did was I boiled that down and said, let's do some math here. According to what numbers you're looking at, if you're looking at 1619 or the 1500s when first, enslaved Africans were brought to the Carolinas, whatever the case, right around 300, actually a total of 339 years. But let's just say solid 300 years of American chattel slavery. 300 years.
She's going to get into that. That's very good. Again, check out the whole video. There's another point I'm going to give to you. her last point that I like that she did, that I'm going to show you guys, and I just love it. And I think I was doing this before she did, but I'll let her tell it, and then you'll understand what I'm trying to say. And
this mistake is costing Amazon Prime shoppers.
Sorry about that. It's something that we do. All of us do. I mean, I think everyone does that no matter what race you are or whatever. But when it comes to us, we believe our own lies and things like that. And I think it's very dangerous that we do that. So hold on, let me get back to
I love my people. I believe in them. I know who they are. They course through my veins. And I never give up. I never give up because I have watched people transform. They said, I just didn't know. I didn't know. And that cannot be the reason why we can't change the trajectory. Everyone gets to know. I'm not waiting for the school system to teach my children and my grandchildren. If they said they can't, then I'm going to open a camp where they can all come. But we've got to let everyone know.
Amen.
This is not just the talking heads or the ivory tower. Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
If we're talking about real healing, we've got to give people tools and knowledge and support. That's our village. And so I think that when we have these conversations, so often they stop right here. They don't stop right here for me. I'm talking to my neighbor across the street. When I walk down the street, true story, I'm in Hotlanta. So don't nobody walk and go on their walks until the sun goes down or early, right? That's what people do. So I'm walking one day and there's some Black adults in front of me. So I'm walking behind them. They're walking and they're doing their walk through the community. And in front of them are a whole group of, looks like high school kids, maybe coming from after school, something. They're coming, walking down and they're sagging, and the whole 9 yards, tatted up. And all of a sudden I see the group in front of me, just as the kids approach, cross the street. And I looked at them, they crossed the street. So now they're walking towards me. So when they get to the point where they're getting ready to pass me, I said, wait a minute, hold up. Everybody hold up. I pointed at one of them. I said, what do you plan to do with your life? What do you want to be? And then all of them started laughing. I said, don't laugh because I'm coming to you next. You better be thinking, right? So he goes, I want to be an entrepreneur. I said, really? So what kind of entrepreneur? He said, well, my uncle owns a barbershop. And, I was thinking I want to own my own spot. I said, good for you. What are you doing? What kind of classes are you taking? And then now the rest of them are chomping at the bit to tell me their dreams. It got to the point where if they saw me, they would stop and wait. Because I was an adult that knew they had dreams and they had skills and capability. What did those Black people say to them when they crossed the street? Do you see what I'm saying? Just that simple act of crossing the street. What message did you send to your sons? Those are my sons, my grandsons. Why would I cross the street? And they would tell me, you know what I'm doing? Guess what? We just, all of a sudden, no one even asks. No one talks to them. And that's part of that very thing you're talking about, where we believe the lie. We believe it. And I guess for me, those are the moments. Those are the moments that inspire me being here and telling you that story. So however many people hear it can recognize, don't do that.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Right? And again, on one level, it's very simple to me. You change the genetic mapping when you change who and how we are. We can change that trajectory. We don't need to wait for anybody. That is a kind word. That is lifting up people wherever you are on the ground.
lovely. I used to do that. I don't do that no more. I mean, I'm not telling y'all to be stupid to go through a whole group of gangsters and killers and stuff like that. But if it's just kids or people just, on the corner hanging out or whatever, your first inkling is, oh, let me go away from them, stuff like that. Yeah, but it's your people. That's your people, right? You should not be scared of your people. If you coming in peace, and stuff like that, you should have no problem. you should have no problem, especially for the young youth. Now, I do this. Me being a 6'4" Black man, if I'm outside or a woman is alone, and let's say that same case scenario, and I see it, I've done this many a times, and I'm on the street or in the area, and I see a woman walking towards me, especially if it's a white woman and stuff like that, I walk away. If we're on the same side of the mall, the hall, the street, I cross the street because I know I'm at a very young age. I said this before. At a very young age, my mother and my best friend, his mother, they always spoke to us that, look, yeah, you're 16, but you're a 6', 16-year-old. People look at you as a grown man, and you're Black. So yes, you're in high school and all this other stuff, but remember, you're a man when you're out there. And as you being Black and people portraying you as a man, this is how society sees you. Always be aware of that, right? So even though I know have no ill intentions, don't want to cause harm on anybody, I know that's the perception that I'm giving just by my very being. So that's why I will walk across the street. That's why I'll get out the way, because I don't know what that woman is thinking or whatever. But let's say she's thinking the worst. At least she'll feel stupid, like, oh, wow. Oh, my gosh, this big, tall, Black guy's going to have his way with me. He's going to rape me and take my money. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Bitch, please, across the street. Like, oh. What? That's the message that I sent to them if they're thinking that. Now, if they're like, hey, brother, or white lady, oh, no, you're just a regular Black guy. I don't think like that. If they see me cross the street, they'd be like, oh, okay. He probably wants nothing to do with me, or feel that doing away so I won't feel threatened by his presence. The fact that we see each other, walking towards each other, we make eye contact, and I go across the street. That also sends a message that I know who I am, I'm aware of who I am, and I know you see me as an imminent threat. And if they see me as an imminent threat, that makes them feel like shit. But if they're wise enough to know who I am and my life experience as a Black man, they would understand, like, oh, and be like, you know what? He's being considerate, so there's that. So we're pretty much coming to an end right now. Yeah, we're pretty much coming to an end right now. I want to show 2 more videos, right? Just to really put a couple more nails in the coffin as far as like the Republicans and how they're so anti-Black. And they're not really good at covering up their anti-Blackness. That's the funny part. And the sad part when you got niggas that's defending them. So here we go.
Washington, D.C. right now, Republicans don't really get to set the agenda because they've lost the White House and the Senate and the House. Their agenda is just to oppose everything President Biden wants. But in the states, they do get to write the laws. They've been focusing on restricting voting, seen a lot of those, banning health care for transgender youth and trans participation in sports. And now the latest project they're working on is banning critical race theory in schools. Critical race theory, the study of the structural roots of American racial hierarchy and its legacy. Several states have introduced bills to this effect. Last week, the Republican-dominated Oklahoma State House passed a bill that prohibits the teaching of critical race theory. Idaho's governor just signed a bill banning critical race theory in schools. Also last week, during debate about a bill that would ban schools from teaching, quote, divisive concepts about race and sex, one Louisiana Republican said, and I quote, if you were having a discussion on whatever the case may be on slavery, then you can talk about everything dealing with slavery, the good, the bad, the ugly. Before he was reminded there was no good to slavery and walked it back. During a similar debate today, a Republican member of the Tennessee state legislature gave an unwitting lesson in the importance of accurately and rigorously teaching the real history of slavery and racial oppression in the United States.
The Three-Fifths Compromise was a direct effort to ensure that Southern states never got the population necessary to continue the practice of slavery everywhere else in the country. What does that mean? appropriation based on population. That's how we pick. Everybody in here knows we've got 9, I hope I'm right, 9 state representatives. By limiting the number of population in the count, they specifically limited the number of representatives that would be available in the slave-holding states, and they did it for the purpose of ending slavery well before Abraham Lincoln, well before a Civil War. Do we talk about that? I don't hear that anywhere in this conversation across the country.
I mean, look, it's a complicated history, the Three-Fifths Compromise. It's true that a bunch of folks on the other side of the compromise were trying to limit the representational power.
And I give that Republican kudos for at least bringing that up. You know, that's not a popular narrative to have in Republican spaces, because he's in a space where there's a lot of Republicans are proud racists, and they don't hide it. And they have no ifs, ands, buts about it. They wear that with pride.
Power of the slave states. But it's also unquestionably like a moral stain on the Constitution that explicitly said slaves counted less than any other person. In fact, didn't even use the word slave, which was an indicator at the time that everyone then knew enough to be morally embarrassed by what they were doing. This fight against teaching America's racist past has now been integrated into the broader Republican cancel culture, wokeness, moral panic being stoked with Joe Biden in office. And since he's a less appealing
that word again, wokeness. So again, he's using it in a Republican frame. Wokeness just means telling the truth of the matter. And, you know, Republicans hate the truth of the matter, especially when it comes to race and giving other people's humanity, recognizing other people that are not white, especially if it makes their race at a disadvantage. But it's not really making your race look at a disadvantage. You put yourself at a disadvantage if you say that, well, that shouldn't be talking about. Then you just told on yourself, well, I feel that I don't want that being taught or whatever. If it's not a reflection on you, why you don't want it to be taught? We're talking about bad people that did this. If you consider yourself one of those bad people, then I understand.
Target than other recent Democratic presidents for, oh gosh, who knows what reason. Mitch McConnell and his party decided the biggest threat to America is white people finding out America's institutions are racist. Last time we visited the Tennessee State House, it was to speak to State Representative London Lamar about the Republican push to keep a bust of one of the founders of the KKK in the state rotunda. She joined us from in front of that bust. She's back tonight after having debated Tennessee's proposed law banning critical race theory. State Representative London Lamar, welcome.
Okay, I'm gonna end this one here, right? So we are so it's hard for me to understand it's hard for me to understand a black Republican, because everything Republicans do, and these are popular ones, these are on like the standby ones or the ones that doesn't have any popular. These are the very popular ones that are the face of the Republican Party, that you pretty much know who they stand. No one talks them down. No one says shame, 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 making our party look bad. Da da da. No, they let them rock out with the racist narratives and the anti-blackness, the anti-Africanness. They do that. That's why, to me, FBA is understand why FBA, when they show that they're Republicans, it makes sense. They hate immigrants, right? They think they hate black FBA. They hate black immigrants. They think they're the real Americans, and they're just doing a copycat of their current slave masters. The current white people right now, they co-opted the American flag as saying, well, I'm the real American. We're the real Americans. What does FBA do? FBA puts American flags on their handle. American flags everywhere. They're doing the same thing. Now, these same stupid ass Negroes go into these same white spaces with the Blue Lives Matter flags, was basically a middle finger to black people and to yay to police brutality against black people. They go to those same spaces with the Blue Lives Matter flags and American flags. You think they're going to treat them as one of their own? No. But these are people that are desperate. And I think most of them are just a bunch of cowards anyway. They're either cowardly young fools. They're either both or one or the other, right? They're not going to be treated the same way. But let me show you right here why I don't understand why. What is this? This is political. DeSantis defends banning African American studies course as Black leaders call for action. So again, Republicans still got Black people that are Republicans. What do Republicans have? Like, to me, this is like a low blow. You can't be pro-Black and be Republican. I keep saying this all the time. You cannot be pro-Black and be Republican. Or let me dial it back a little bit. You cannot be pro-Black and be a die-hard Republican. Right? Donald Trump or bust. That's crazy. DeSantis or bust. Like, these are there's infighting in the Republican Party. Either DeSantis or Trump, and they're both racist pieces of shit. Right. So let's see what DeSantis has to say.
Black history. What's one of the lessons about? Queer theory. Now, who would say that
people, we know that's a lie. Those are two different things. The LGBTQ nonsense and Black history are two completely different things. Maybe he got mixed up, because I would say, and it's something that I hate, the LGBT community tries to co-opt Black people and Black struggles and put it onto their struggles, which are two completely different struggles, right? And again, they're using Black people as political props, as little Negro minions to ride on our backs for their causes. And that's another thing we have to stop doing. If you're a Black gay person, you're winning. You're winning. You would get more representation than us, because at least if you're a gay Black person and you're being mistreated because you're gay, that benefits other gay white people, right? It's like, hey, oh wow, okay, no, okay, well, we gotta nip this in the bud, because it seems that he's being discriminated because he's gay, and yeah, we throw a little Black in there too, but it's mostly because they're gay. But if you're Black, it's not really their fight. I'm not saying that there isn't a lot of Black white allies. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying they don't get all that gusto and all that energy when it's just a Black issue for the most part. So we know what he's saying right here is idiotic and dishonest.
an important part of Black history is queer theory? That is somebody pushing an agenda on our kids. When you look to see, they have stuff about intersectionality, abolishing prisons. That's a political agenda.
Where's someone saying abolishing prisons? So I'm going to read it between the lines here. So we know that the United States has the largest prison industrial complex in the world. And most of those people that are in those prisons are Black people. Now, if you're a Republican or white racist, you would think that Black people are just inherently backwards and criminal, right? They've been saying that since Reconstruction, even though around Reconstruction all the way, let's say, to the 60s, right? Black people have been pretty much trying to be on their own. They were very productive, yada, 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 right? And even go to the point where even during in the start of Reconstruction, you had white people making up laws like literacy laws, laws for loitering if you didn't have a job, right? They were criminalizing those things, right? So unless you are a Republican or a racist, then you believe that, oh yeah, they're trying to why did Black people are criminals, so we're going to need more prisons. Why do you want to get rid of prisons when we need more prisons, knowing that Black people make up the most of the population, the prison population? So again, he's showing his racist hand, but if you're a Republican, you won't see it as racist. It just makes common sense.
And so that's the wrong side of the line for Florida standards. We believe in teaching kids facts and how to think, but we don't believe they should have an agenda imposed on them.
At Chevron,
Sorry about that. Yeah, so that's pretty much it of what I've been trying to say as far as like what the quote unquote woke agenda is, and as far as like the language being used against us. So don't shy away from wokeness. Don't shy away from Hotep. Don't shy away from shea butter. It's good for your skin. Don't shy away from these things because society or white supremacist political talking heads or white supremacist minions that look black use these words to make you feel bad. Because because I mean they got no problem saying the N-word and you saying the N-word on TV. Like it's a TED talk. There was a TED talk where they had this guy. He was like in the music industry. And he was basically doing like a little experiment as far as like what music could be played. So he's playing rap music and had a lot of N-words in it, and a lot of killing and gang related stuff and things like that. And they're like, yeah, well, we could play that, we could play that. And then he did a text like, hey, I got this new artist also over here also is a white guy, and he's talking about doing it pretty much like the same type of behavior, but in a suburban white sort of way. And those same people are like, well, no, we can't do that. It's like, why? That's horrible. He's destroying this, he's doing this, and he's doing that. And it's like, okay, but why don't you feel the same way when it comes to black people? So again, these are people that are very racist and think that we're just normally black people are just animals, and we're feeding into that. So it's very important for us to view ourselves in a positive light. And if we know we have certain faults that, as we all have of, these unconscious bias or, using the N-word as a form of which is ridiculous to say, of a form of admiration and all this other stuff, that's just complete nonsense. No other people on earth does that. No other people on earth been through as much as we've been through next to the Native Americans, right? People have been through infinitely less, and they don't call each other those same names that those people who pretty much use them and abuse them and kill them. Jews don't be going around saying, what's up, my kike? You know what I'm saying? Native Americans don't be going around calling each other red man and the savage and stuff like that. Black South Africans don't go around calling each other kiffers. That's a derogatory, that's like their N-word, right? People from India and certain places from China, the word that the Brits gave them were called coolies, like coolies or coolie, right? They don't like, if you watch the movie Kung Fu Hustle, it's a funny kung fu movie from the 90s, but it's in subtitles, but it's English dubbed. One of the Asian Chinese guy called the other guy a coolie, and they started fighting. Right? It's that word did not present itself in any other casual setting because they got freaking sense to know that that's fighting words. So we have to see that as fighting words. Like me, I'm a type of person, if I'm not even gonna go off on that, but I don't take kindly to anyone calling me the N-word at all. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, that's fine, but especially it's coming from a white person or a person that's not black. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. I glad I was able to do this. I probably might do something else because there's a couple other things and other words, and I really like to get into post-traumatic slave syndrome and just trauma and how trauma affects the human psyche, especially us as Black people specifically, because we see a lot of that behavior repeating itself. What we're seeing, what we're going through is nothing new. it's unfortunately is generational, right? It's generational, and basically we have to stop certain behaviors, certain things that we accepted, certain behaviors that we know is bizarre, but has been normalized. So I would like to do another show like this, but basically about, like I said, about how to remedy it, how to spot something that's not cool, something that we do, only our group do, and try to rectify that. So anyway, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Please put a comment down. I would really like to know what you guys think. Or anything that if you want me to do a topic or want to know how I feel about a particular subject, again, just please leave it in a comment. Let me know. Again, I really appreciate for those of you who were looking live or who's looking after the live play. Again, please share your comments and your views. Thank you very much. Be safe. Peace. Hotep.